ねあの人。
What the fuck?
Short version of that video today. Good to see everybody here today in the house. What's up? What's up? What's up? We're on time and not scuffed. How about that? It's a miracle. And I got a haircut today. So, you know, it's an end of the month miracle here on the channel. Good to see everybody here. I'm also playing around in the backstage here because I see that there got added the feature to have like an automatic intro and outro, which will be nice. I can loop some of these things together, which will be really fun. And also just want to say real quick, thank you to everybody who gifted so kindly before the show even started. We're starting out very based with King Lugia with 1 Legal Mindset membership, and then King Lugia with 5, so that's 6. Then I'm here for the scuff for 10 Legal Mindset memberships. Nick Atkins for another 10 memberships to bring us up to, what is that already? We're already at I don't math so good, but that already brings us up to, I believe, 26. Thank you guys for that. Very based of you. Appreciate this support. Thank you. Yes. So let's get a little Shondo in here because that is super based.
Not a sin. I cannot absolve you. Mega based.
Thank you, everybody. Appreciate that. I'm here for the scuff. Says super chats are free. They are totally free today. This is free super chat and free membership day, where they just flow like the water. Billy Aoki for 2 Singaporean says gay haircut. Thank you. Appreciate that. JP, thank you for the mod coming in with 5 Legal Mindset memberships, and Setsuna F Psi with another 10. Thank you guys for being absolutely based. Let's get another clip. We're at the end of the month. I got to get through what are the clips I haven't used in a while. Let's do this one.
Do you even know what you're saying? Card man? I don't even understand. I'm fucking illiterate. Do I look like I know how to read? No, I don't know how to read.
Which is most people when it comes to immigration law. We're going to talk about how, most people aren't going to know the things that I'm going to go through today. This is almost like a free consultation topic because obviously, if you guys don't know, I kind of do a thing where I help people out, on my other channel, obviously Go East Gentleman, goeastgentleman.com, Go East Gentleman, the channel, which I'm kind of just rebranding as kind of just Go East, because I especially for Korea, my clients are actually mostly ladies in Korea. But that said, it is good to talk about this, even though it's not on that channel, because it kind of relates in with the Somali case. And this is a topic that was requested by so many people today. I had I think 6 emails, which is crazy because I typically, if I get 2 emails on a topic, I'm like, wow, this is really a popular topic. But when I get 6, I'm like, wow, this is a huge thing. And we're going to talk about this travel YouTuber, Nick K. We're going to go to his channel in a second. He has 263,000 subscribers. So that's about almost 100,000 more than me, or sorry, 70,000 more than me. He's got videos with 100K views regularly. I mean, he's got looks like really popular content. He made a ton of content in Korea. So we're going to talk about his ban from South Korea, how that relates to the Somali case, if at all, and some lessons that can be learned from this, what happened, his story. So we're going to get into all that today. Andrew doesn't do numbers. He does law. That's exactly right. I know the law. I may not be able to count, and I may be kind of dumb, but I know the law. And while I'm not a South Korean lawyer, which is full disclaimer, I'm of course a Florida lawyer, an American lawyer. I am well aware of the practices and procedures, especially with the countries of Korea, Japan, and Thailand. Right, I am very intimately aware of that, and I talk with and work with lawyers in Korea and Japan and Thailand all the time as it relates to helping folks relocate from the west to the east. That's just kind of what I do. So this is completely within my wheelhouse. But thank you guys for everything. Thank you for the gifts. I also set a goal today. Yes, I did just get a haircut. Thank you for noticing. I did set a goal today because it's the end of the month, and I'm trying to hit my monthly goals here. So I realized, because it's Chinese New Year, or Lunar New Year. I usually say Lunar New Year, not Chinese New Year, but just everybody here will say Chinese New Year. So sometimes I'm like, all right, whatever, fine. Chinese New Year, it's all good, right? But Lunar New Year, because also celebrated in other countries, is with Vietnam, Korea, etc. It's Seoul in Korea. So there is this, there's a Chinatown in Bangkok, and it's one of the largest in the world. I believe the largest outside of China. And indeed, there's this alcohol, which my friend, I saw him buy it. And I'm like, this is totally a YouTube goal challenge. So there's this Scorpion booze. Now it comes in both whiskey. This is the whiskey version, and vodka version. There's like a whiskey and vodka version. So if you want to see me do that, let's hit that goal. Let's hit that goal. I would not normally do this. I've actually eaten the Scorpion itself. I've done that before. It's not particularly tasty or nice, but I figured the booze, I haven't done that before. That'd be a new one for me. It'd be a first. You guys would take my first Scorpion juice. So we hit that goal. I'm on some Scorpion juice. So that's the goal for today. If we can get there. Now, Andrew getting a bowl cut should be the goal for 200K subs. No. Guys, you can email me if you have questions about visas or anything else, F1, F4, etc. Email me at goeastgentleman.com, or sorry, goeastgentleman@gmail.com. You can also just write me even at andrewesquirelive@gmail.com, and I'll get back to you. So I'll respond to you and get back to you and set up a consultation. I do charge a fee if I'm giving you detailed advice. Although I'll give you a hefty discount. So we're going to get into this today with this travel blogger. This is really interesting to me because it highlights so many things that can go wrong when you're trying to do this living abroad and streaming and content creating gig, right? Particularly the travel content creators. Now, I am not a travel content creator. I don't focus on that. I really don't have any interest in going around and like showing everybody everything I'm eating and commenting on it and doing subtitles and all that stuff. It is a pain even for me to do subtitles normally. I just doing it for a couple of videos was a lot. But this is a specific niche of people, and it is a very profitable niche. For the folks that do it, it is highly profitable. If you're good and if you're able to get loyal followers in a dedicated niche, you can actually become very, very, very successful. So this guy, Nick K, just to show you, he is within that niche. Here's his channel here. So let me show you guys his channel. Looks like he's very successful. He's an American travel vlogger, off the beaten path. He's been living in Japan for 11 years. He began traveling and going to the rest of Asia. He's visited Indonesia, Malaysia, Japan, Taiwan, South Korea, Philippines, India, Thailand. All very cool countries. Recommend you guys visiting those countries. I love Asia. These are amazing Asian countries. And so, yeah, it seems like it's a cool guy. I got nothing against him personally. In fact, I, think that the problems he had and my criticisms and my kind of advice to him is advice that most people abroad don't know, most people traveling don't know, but they're big issues because they can cause problems, particularly if you're a content creator. So I hope this is a useful episode for content creators. I'll definitely clip it. I'll definitely put it on my other channel as well. Eagle, get to clipping. He's in the clipping farms. But I'm definitely going to have this up on the other channel as well. But this is very helpful information for those that are thinking about doing anything where you're traveling or moving around and filming, particularly if you're doing it in Asia, right? So he's made a lot of content. Now, for the last 6 months, even you can go back a little longer than that, he has done content related to Korea. So you can see he's done a bunch of stuff. If you go back here 1 month, Korea. Texan tries Texas-style barbecue in South Korea. The Jeju 4.3 incident. South Korea travel hack. Stay in a love hotel. Finnish man tries Korean sauna. Exploring Jeju Island in South Korea. Inside Jeju's 5-day market. The family is healing people in Jeju. Welcome to Jeju. I was hunted down in Korea like Johnny Somali. See, he even grifted off of that 1 month ago. I found Korea's best food, bibimbap. Cycling from Busan to Jeju. My youngest fan took me Busan's best sujebi restaurant. American's first Korean baseball game. Welcome to Busan. I met this guy in Korea. American gets drunk in Korea. Foreigner falls in love with Korea. Are you getting the theme here? He has done a shitload of Korean content. And not only that, but he went out of his way for a lot of this content to subtitle it in Korean. So it has Korean subtitles. So what this does, and I'm just going to show you some of the subtitles here so you see that they exist. Right, there you go, you subtitled it. So what this does is it creates a Korean market. And you can see if you look at his comments here, he is getting a ton of comments in Korean, and he is getting a ton of money. He's making a lot in super thanks and in super comments here. You look at this, this is essentially like $100. Well, it used to be $100. Now it's like 70, like $70, $7, right? Seven, like a buck. Another $15 or whatever, $13, $10, $10, $7. He's making a ton, and these are super thanks. It has nothing to do with the ad revenue of this, of these videos, which is going to be significant in the aggregate, right? He is making a good amount of money. I can only estimate, even if he doesn't have any ad sponsors, even if he doesn't have anything else, he's probably making, I would say, 5 figures would be accurate. Probably making 5 figures a month with all the different monetization methods that he has for his channel, which is awesome, which is great. Good for him. Super awesome. But he got in trouble. He got in trouble with Korea, and they have effectively banned him from the country unless he goes back and gets a proper visa, right? Which is kind of what I am going to come and advise the guy to do. But we're going to watch the whole video. It's a 16-minute video, so we're going to watch through that, give some commentary. But before we do that, JP Ravenstar still says, for 10, American says, you still are the Go East gentleman, though. I know. IND, ma'am. Thank you. Azure Berries, really the title of that channel was really more about me being a guy. Right, it's like I'm a guy, so it's like Go East Gentleman. It's really about me, right? It's my channel, right? So, and I'm a dude, right? I'm not claiming to be another gender. I'm not a third gender. I'm a dude, right? We're checking the box on male, right? So that's why I named it that, not because I intended for the whole audience to be men. Azure Berry for 10 says, cheers to Scorpions. Happy Lunar New Year. Hey, thanks. Cheers. Setsuna F. Sai says, get a mohawk and dye it America colors. That would be a very big goal. That's like I've never done a mohawk in my life. That would be a 4th of July next year challenge. And I'm not even sure I'd do it then. You guys really have to bribe me. I'm not saying I can't be bribed, but I'm saying it would have to be significant. Fitty Tucker for Aussie 10 says, happy Lunar New Year, Florida man. Thank you so much. And we're already halfway to our goal. That's awesome. About halfway to our goal. That's really cool. Thank you guys so much for the support. Thank you for the love, and happy Lunar New Year to everybody here. Okay, so we're going to get into this video here and jump right into it. I'm going to pause it a little bit because I want to make some comments as we go. And then afterwards, of course, you guys know what I have for you. A PowerPoint presentation. That's right. Oh boy. He's got a PowerPoint, baby.
Emotional damage.
There we go. Claybuster for 10 says, I'll do it in my best Klaus Schwab voice. You will eat the bugs, Klaus. Von Klaus. Danke. From your favorite World Economic Forum evil villain to you. Thank you, Claybuster. All right. Let's start this thing here. Make sure I got the audio on. Yes, I do. Okay, good to go. All right, let's rock it. So this is Nick K. He's going to explain the situation. I am going to let's put him at playback speed. Let's do 1.25 because I want to make it go a little quicker. Here we go.
No, this is not clickbait. This is very real. I think I've been canceled or banned or whatever you want to call it in South Korea. I think
I wouldn't call it canceled. He's more effectively banned from illegally working in the country. So this is one thing I'm going to point out here is, immigration law is law. And I think we're learning that in the United States. And I think, he's an American. A lot of Americans, we're not used to immigration law being law. It's like this new concept. And I love seeing sometimes the press conferences where people just refuse to accept that immigration law is law. Fun fact, every other country in the world, pretty much except for the United States and maybe Canada, right? Treats immigration law seriously. If you break immigration law, you are a criminal. That is a real law. It's not a fake law. It's not a made-up law, and they tend to take that seriously. I think it's only in America where we like, well, it's immigration, so it's not serious, right? Oh, that's another category. I think that's a very limited to America thing. After years of gaslighting that it's not, but actually, immigration law is the highest law of the land. The power of immigration law comes from a country's power of sovereignty. It's derived from the highest level of power. If a country doesn't have borders, and essentially there's no real border to a country, well, it's not really a country, right? That's the ultimate exercise of a country's sovereign power, is its power to enforce and protect its borders, right? And most other countries understand this. Oh yeah, people mentioned the UK. Sorry, yeah, the UK too. Sorry, the UK. Let me throw the UK in there. Maybe a Germany too, right? Deutschland. We'll get Deutschland in there. But most, especially in Asia, let me just speak for Asia. Most of Asia understands the concept of immigration law and borders, and they treat people that violate immigration law as criminals, as they should, right? Because it's a breach of law. Now, does that mean everybody gets caught? No. But does everyone get caught speeding? No. But is it still a crime if you're speeding? Let's say you're doing, 60 miles an hour over the speed limit, you're going to get hit with reckless driving, right? It doesn't matter if the car in front of you is doing 65. If the cop pulls you over, you're still guilty, right? Even if you're the only one caught, still guilty of the crime, right? Not all criminals get caught. That's a basic principle. We're going to talk about that in my PowerPoint. But they actually enforce these laws. It's crazy. I know it's insane. Let's continue here.
It'll get resolved. I think I'll be able to find a way to fix this. But as for now,
there's absolutely a way to fix this problem, and I'm gonna give him the answer for free. He doesn't have to pay me a consultation. He can literally just watch my video, and he can actually watch the clip of my video, because I don't expect him to watch a 3-hour stream or 2-hour stream or 1-hour stream. He can watch the clip of my video. I'll create a little short for him, right, with the solution for this.
I can't make any videos in South Korea, and so I've been advised not to get to that.
If they tell you not to, you probably shouldn't do it.
In a second, but what happened? Yeah, it's kind of crazy, kind of scary. I flew back to South Korea 5 days ago now, January 24th. I spent a couple months in Texas with family, and I flew back to South Korea mainly just to get my bike. And
I don't know if that timing actually, so that timing that he says, I don't know if he was there, because he says, I flew back here 5 days ago. I spent a couple months. I don't know how he posts his videos, because it seems like the way he was posting his videos that there was some period of time where pretty much for about 6 months, he was just straight up in Korea. Like 3 to 6 months that he was just in Korea. Maybe that's his posting, whatever else, but it looks like he was in Korea for a significant block of time before he tried to come back. So that's one thing there.
24th, I spent a couple months in South Korea, mainly just to get my bike and pick it up, get everything together, and then fly to another country, where I'm at now. And so I arrive in South Korea, just like usual. You go to the quarantine area, then you go to the immigration before you pick up your bag.
He's probably in Southeast Asia based on his clothing, his short sleeve shirt and his hat. He's probably in Philippines or Thailand or Indonesia or something like that. Real quick, because there's a couple of these here. Cindy Collins says, greetings from Newfoundland, drinking hot chocolate while cutting out caffeine during pregnancy. Congratulations on the pregnancy and enjoy the hot chocolate. I love hot chocolate too. I'm here for the scuff. For 10 says, please drink responsibly. I will. And not ending up shit-faced like Morty Callipy on a New Year's stream. I'll try not to Maury myself. Satsuna F. Sai says, shame on you, Lala, man. Bribes are illegal. But here's a non-related gift. You guys aren't bribing me. You're paying what's called a facilitation fee. That's how you get around a lot of the international financial regulations. It's called the facilitation fee. Get the terminology right. This is why you pay lawyers big money. Facilitation fee. Wink. Billy Aoki says, any tips for getting irrevocable U.S. visas? Asking on behalf of my Colombian friends. If they have permanent residency or citizenship, I mean, really, citizenship is irrevocable. But if it's anything short of that, no, it can be revoked. Even, diplomatic status is something that's a little bit, questionable, but you can revoke that too. There's been many instances of diplomatic status being revoked over the years. So, yeah, citizenship. That's the thing. Continuing.
And as I'm going up to the desk or where you put your fingerprint and whatnot, the immigration officer scans my passport, and then he closes it. He kind of motions over to another immigration officer, and he's like, follow him. I'm like, this is new. Okay. So I follow him to the side room. It's a huge office. They have me sit down, and I sat there for like 10 minutes. No one said a word to me. The guy on the other side of the window, he's just clicking away. And eventually I see him, he prints off 3 pieces of paper. He holds his phone up to the little window, and it's the Korean with the English translation.
By the way, this room he's describing, going from the main immigration when you come into Korea to the little room. I've been in that little room. Oh, I was a naughty boy. I'm kidding. I was just changing my visa category from one category to a different category back when I lived full-time in Korea, and I was there on a very valid visa, which I could work under. I was switching from one category to another. So they just asked me some questions about what I was doing, and I explained it to them, and everything was okay. And they let me through. So it wasn't really a big deal, but I know this room. And the funny thing about Korean immigration is that, and this is hilarious, he's explaining how their immigration officer is using Google Translate. And I know this is kind of a little bit embarrassing, but a lot of times even the immigration folks, their English isn't up to snuff, or they're shy or something, right? They have like the common problem of just like their English is not 100% there where they can explain everything in detail. And it's fine to have a translation and see everything. It all works out, if they've got the Korean to English translation, and there can be no misunderstanding. But it's very different from other countries where the immigration officials will just speak to you in English, right? Because they are pretty comfortable, or they'll try. If it's Thailand, they're going to speak to me in English. If it's Philippines, obviously going to speak to me in English, like Indonesia, Vietnam, right? But Korea, and to a certain extent it happens in Japan, but in Korea, the immigration official will be using a translator, which is, to me, kind of funny. I do think that's a little bit funny. But it's kind of like the one job you probably should have to master English for, because, you have to talk to foreigners. That's your job. A little bit funny. By the way, we're only 2 away from the scorpion juice. So let's get that juice, baby. Let's continue.
It's like, you've broken South Korean law, and
see, this is good. What did they say? What's the translation? What exactly did they say to him?
With the English translation, it's like, you've broken South Korean law, and you will now be questioned and interviewed.
How many times are we hearing this now in America for the first time? And it's like some shock that people are in tears over in the US. And this is just a frank statement in South Korea. And this is what people need to realize. This is the normal thing. What Korea is doing, and what, is now being explained in the US. This is what normal immigration looks like. And I love Asia because it's straightforward, right? It's like, nope, you broke the law, right? You broke the law. We're going to explain this to you. We're going to question you, right? Very straightforward, very direct, but that's what's happened. You've broke the law, right? There are laws regarding what you can do in the country, particularly if you're there on a visa exemption, or what's called a visa waiver, or if you're there on a tourist visa, right? They are functionally similar and limited in what you can do. And we'll talk about that as we go.
And that's when I was like, oh shit, this just got real. Like, what is going on? The panic.
I see someone in
meter.
the chat saying the system is not up to snuff. That has nothing to do with the system being up to snuff. This could have happened in Indonesia. This could happen anywhere else. And frankly, I'll talk about it. All the factors that are related to his case show that this is something where that indeed should have required a work visa based on the volume and the amount and all the factors that the immigration will use. We'll get to it right now. He didn't know it, and I'm not blaming him for not knowing. Right, his state of mind is innocent, but you can still be responsible for something even if you don't know it. So you can be thrown in jail, you can be punished, you can be, whatever, for things that you don't know. This is how the laws functioned across countries forever, right? And there is some responsibility to do that homework before you go to the country. Some responsibility, although this is a little bit of a gray area. I'm here for the Scuff for 10, says drinking stream. We're almost there. One more, and we're there. Thank you, Scuff. Appreciate it.
Sure, definitely went up. I'm like, well, there's got to be a simple explanation for this. I got nothing to hide. Sure, let's talk and let's figure out what's going on. And so he leads me into another room. And he gives me 3 pieces of paper. He's like, yeah, fill this questionnaire out. And that's what I did. I filled it out. It's basically just, goes over your basic information. What are you doing in Korea? What's your job? It asked if I wanted like refugee status for whatever reason. It tells
they're legally obliged to ask you if you want refugee status. By the way, they wouldn't accept him if he tried to do that. So just FYI, even if he tried to do that, it wouldn't go very far.
If I needed help from the embassy, those kind of things, I'm like, this is ridiculous. Like, I'm sure we can just figure this out right now. But as I'm doing this, the guy comes in and he's like, so what agency do you work for? Like what company? I'm like, I don't work for anybody. I'm just an individual, self-employed, I guess. I don't even know what you want to call it. Like it's just me. Like I don't work for anybody. I travel. I make videos. And that's it.
So he would be what we would call generally a digital nomad. So he's a digital nomad, essentially. He does his own work. He's and as a freelancer, somebody who has, I don't know whether he has a company set up in the US, an LLC or not. Hopefully he does have an LLC. It makes things easier, but he's essentially what I would determine as a digital nomad, right? So he can go make videos and go wherever, right? So that's a digital nomad. So right off the bat, South Korea has a digital nomad visa. It's pretty easy to apply for. It doesn't take too long, right? And if you're away in Texas with your family for a couple months, could have applied for it and received it during that time, right? It doesn't take very long. There's Korean embassies in the United States, Korean consulates in the United States. You just apply through the consulate, get that granted. There's also what's called an E6 visa, an entertainment visa. So it could also fall under that as well. Very easy. I'm going to show you the requirements. It's almost nothing. It's super easy to apply for. Now, whether he's granted or not is still discretionary. They don't have to give you any particular visa. They can deny you for whatever reason at any time. But that's why they're asking the questions, because they're angling at, when they're asking you what agency, that he should be going through that route, that venue, based on the content they're seeing him put out.
He's like, well, who else helps you? Like, who works for him? Like, dude, it's just me. Like, I do everything. He's like, okay, well, you make money on your YouTube? I'm like, yeah, of course, it's monetized. I do make money. And
the thing is, like, for young people, this is obvious, but for like boomer immigration officials that like don't really understand these things, they don't really get it. I mean, they think that, YouTube, many of them don't even know YouTube is monetized, right? Some of them don't even know that you can they think it's just for fun. It's just for like laughs and for clout or whatever. They don't think it's like a job, a full-time job. If you tell somebody you're a YouTuber, they're not really going to know what the fuck you do. So, it's easier to tell people, for example, in my case, if people ask what I do, it's easier to say I'm a lawyer than to be like, I'm a lawyer, but I'm a legal content creator. I'm a legal lawyer, right? On the YouTube. I'm a law tuber. They're not going to know what the fuck law tube is, right? They know what a lawyer is, but they struggle to understand still, especially on the immigration side in many countries like YouTubing. Now, it's changing. This is rapidly changing, but a lot of folks still are catching up with the monetization of that and understanding that deeply.
He's like, all right, okay. And then he grabs my papers, the questionnaire that I just filled out.
By the way, if you were to come into the United States and say that you were working or whatever as a YouTuber or whatever, and you were a foreigner that was there on a tourist visa to the US, not somebody from like a European country or a Canadian or whatever. I'm talking about like, let's say you're like a Romanian or not even, maybe you're like Ugandan and you got a tourist visa, right, to the United States. And you said, oh yeah, I'm working as a YouTuber. You're going to get rejected and turned away at the border, right? If you're there on a tourist visa and you say the word working, you're going to get booted because they're going to say, well, you got to get a working visa, right? The internet work is a new concept. And where internet work takes place is also a question that is kind of up in the air. Is if you are working on the internet for an American company and you're in Japan, are you working in Japan? Or are you working for an American company, which is paying you out of America, which is based in America, therefore your nexus is America, right? That is an open question legally, and it can be interpreted and is interpreted by countries in different ways. That is a huge discretionary thing, which is where a lot of this comes in, particularly as it relates to digital nomads, right? If you are working for Google and Google is paying you, Google's an American company, they're located in America, they're paying you in dollars. Are you working in that country or are you working abroad? Open question.
Eventually, what happened, he was like, okay, you're going to conduct an interview with somebody over the phone. They call me over to the desk again, and he's sitting on the other side asking the questions to the interpreter, and she's she's relaying that to me, and then I'm answering, and she's, he spoke pretty good English, but I think he wanted to have a proper translator. And then there was another immigration officer, a girl behind him the whole time. And so this took maybe 10 minutes, 15 minutes. And then, again, they're like, who do you work for? How much money do you make per month on average?
So they're looking at, is he making something that looks like a salary, which he is, right? And it's his primary revenue. So yeah, it's his work. It's his job. Right. I mean, I can say, for example, for me, yes, YouTubing is a job, right? It is work, right? I am doing this and it takes a significant amount of time, but I do make money on it. It is a significant portion of my revenue, right? So yeah, it's work, right? Even though you can say it's fun, but it's also a job.
Basically saying, like you can't work in Korea, obviously. And so I was just like, yeah, well, there's so many travel vloggers that come to your country.
Real quick, this is the excuse, and I'm going to get into this. If other people did it and got away with it, so why can't I get away with it? This works for children, and I'm not trying to be demeaning to them here, but like this is a childish excuse insofar as you're saying, but they did it and I want to do it too, or oh, they got away with it and I'm going to no, that's not really how it works. And a lot of these people and travel vloggers, what they'll do is they'll come for a week or two and they'll leave. His problem is he keeps going back to Korea, and we're going to see with his content, like I already showed you, as subtitles, his primary bread basket has been Koreans donating to him. So at some point when your primary audience is Korea, and that's a great niche, Koreans, if you get into the Korean niche, the Korean grift, if I'll call it, it's a very good one. You see a lot of Weigugan foreigners who get into this. What is it? The Korean, what is the one? Not the Korean gentleman or something like that. I forget the name of it. Is it what? I forget the YouTube channel. What is it called? Korean Englishman, right? Korean Englishman is a great example of a channel that is targeted at Korea, right? 6.1 million. Let me show you how huge this is. 6.1 million followers, right? I was first told about this by one at the time my girlfriend in Korea told me about this. She's like, oh, you're a YouTuber, like can you like get me on with Korean Englishmen? I'm like, I don't know these guys. They have fucking 6.11 million subscribers. I'm like a YouTube chode compared to them. Shout out to the chodes out there, by the way. Also, did we hit the goal? We're very close. We're so close. Oh, it ended. Oh, we're one short. Oh, well, I'll count it because there's a timer. I'll count it if it's before the end of the stream. I'll count it. But anyways, these guys are really huge, and they do have subtitles, and they do target the Korean audience, but they're also, I think they're married to Koreans. They're doing things through a company there. They have employees. They're doing things the legal way, right? And that is kind of what they expect you to do. So once you are established, or once you're primarily targeting Korea as your market, they want you to come into the system. They don't want you to continue to stay outside the system and use Korea without at all contributing to Korea, because you're not paying Korean taxes. You're not contributing to the healthcare system. You're not doing anything else. You're just milking it for views, right? Without contributing anything to Korea, which for somebody who's profiting off of Korea, you should pay back to Korea. And that's my sort of take on that, right? So, and when I was in Korea, I was paying Korean taxes. So I paid Korean taxes the whole time I was there, right? I also paid into the healthcare system and, everything else I had to pay there when I was, all the fees and everything else I had to pay. So I do think that's proper. I don't think that's wrong. And, I think it's expected of someone who's taking from that society. Same thing here in Thailand, right? I pay the Thai taxes, the Thai VAT, the VAT. I pay that on any services I render here, right? I have a proper corporation. I have a proper work permit, proper authorization. So I think there is a certain point in which you're using a country as a home base or a primary market, which you need to start contributing back. And I don't think that's unreasonable. I think that's a very reasonable thing to want to do. I'm here for the scuff for 10. Says my mother was drunk driving for years before I put a stop to it. Thank you for the 10. I'm sorry to hear that. I do not ever do that. I had a really bad incident when I was in college, and that kind of was like a scared straight. And that is not ever happened since. I don't even own a car anymore. Flora Nova for 10. Thank you. Appreciate that. Thank you. Luna K for 10 says, I bid thee, great legal one. Please accept this super chat, even though we already reached the goal. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. And we're going to be doing the scorpion juice. Sorry about that. I didn't realize the timer was on. The timer's weird. I wanted it to be the whole stream, but thank you for that. It's scorpion juice time. John Vassie said, thank you for the videos. International law is going to adapt as its early years. For such a small world in the UK, laws exist from a century back. Yes, laws are going to change. And the thing is, imagine how the laws are going to have to change about AI. And they're still catching up to the idea of digital nomads. This year is the first year the Philippines is putting in a digital nomad program. Last year was the first year for Korea's digital nomad program. Japan, 2 years ago, or about a year and a half, was their digital nomad program, right? Thailand is really just doing a true digital nomad visa, about this year. It's quads. It's interesting, so these are new programs. This is a new concept. But digital nomading has been around since Tim Ferriss's 4-hour work week, right? This has been around for like a decade now or more of being able to work abroad. And the law is just catching up. So the law is not fast. And it's going to adjust because they're going to keep redefining what a digital nomad is and what they have to have when they're in a country. But once again, because everybody got away with it is not an excuse for you. Alphabet O LOL says Korean Englishman was my intro to Korean food. Yeah, and it's a good channel. By the way, they have a high production value. I have nothing bad to say about those guys at all. They're very wholesome, family friendly, great content. Just really like wholesome stuff about Korea. Invader Tax says on time, no scuff. Yeah, it is a miracle. Anyways, congrats on continuing to do better than a certain potential cabbage farmer or Odeng cook who's definitely coping and seething. Oh yes, Johnny is seething because he cannot stream. Scion of Darkness says the Johnny Somali effect is just bad. We're going to talk about that in relation to this as we go. Thank you guys.
And do the same thing I'm doing. And so, yeah, it's man, it was.
Those people are not doing the same thing he's doing necessarily, right? Some of them may be quasi, but not really, not with the same target audience.
A very unpleasant interaction and just situation for me. And I was looking at my Garmin, my heart rate was racing on the phone. I could tell I was kind of jittery. I don't know. I just don't like those situations, And so at the same time, I'm like, I got nothing to hide. Like, what do you want to hear? What do you want to, just, I'll tell you everything. And so they asked again, who is helping you on these videos. Like, why do you have Korean subtitles? And I'm like, it's very simple, actually. I correct the subtitles in English, and then you can just translate it into any language you want. And so they're like, what about the titles? I'm like, yeah, you can just chat GPT. And
well, this is okay. He's being this is a little bit dishonest here. And I'm not trying to be too hard on the guy, but the subtitles are clearly in Korean, right? Yes, you can do it easily using chat GPT or whatever, but it defaults to Korean on the videos. It's on the video, right? Yes, you can create them, but they're etched into the videos, right? So if you go to his video, right? And I know this because I've now done subtitles on my video, so I know exactly what he does here. This is kind of dishonest, right? Because you don't have, for example, let's go here. Let's show this, right? You don't, first of all, put Korean in your thumbnail, right? Unless your target audience is Koreans. This is a Korean targeted thing. Look at what they gave us, right? He's got it in Korean there. My skin was cooking. He's got it in Korean. Jeju, this is Jeju-do, right there. He's got it just as big almost as the English letters, right? All these, he's putting Korean in the subtitles, in the title itself, right? Korea's top drifter, right? That's not targeted at anybody but Koreans and people who understand Korean. So that's why he got in trouble. Do you see for Thailand, is he putting Thai here? No, I tried Thailand's power drink. Where's your Thai? Right? I got my Thai alphabet. You want to see my really bad Thai alphabet? I'm like learning the Thai alphabet here. Here, I'll focus on me real quick. Here, guys, see this? You guys can laugh at my Thai language. Like I see in here, I'm like writing my Thai language. It's really horrible, but I'm trying. I'm doing an honest effort to learn Thai this year. That's my serious goal, to improve in Thai to the intermediate level, right? But he's not putting Thai in his Thai things, in his Thai messages. And if you look at it, he's got those in his actual video. He's got those subtitles that are on automatically in Korean, right? So you're getting that without having to go anywhere else. So yes, it's easy to do, but it's come on, bro. You're marketing to Korea. Don't pretend you're not. That's a little dishonest, right? We know and as a creator, you can easily look at where your market is. And people say, I don't understand your point. This who said that? Lucky Lance. I don't understand my point is, if you are marketing to a audience and they are primarily in a country, and you're targeting them, and you're physically going to that country to work there or to film there, that is going to look like working. Immigration is not a black and white thing. There's a lot of discretion and a lot of factors that they can look at. But that is certainly a factor. These are all factors. And the immigration officials are throwing these into a pot to say, does this person need a work visa or not? So these factors are being thrown in, and the gears are spinning that, yeah, this person needs a work visa. Yeah, this person needs a work visa. That's what they're thinking. This is not something, immigration law and all these questions can't be answered by Chat GPT. This is not something that is written down in paper. This is something that's a decision of the individual immigration officials. And oftentimes that can vary case to case, person to person. There can be different factors, right? But I'm giving you guys some insight into how these things work and what they're thinking, because this is how they think when they're coming into, does this man need a work visa or not for Korea? This is what they're thinking. And I'm explaining why he was told that you need a work visa and you need to stop filming in Korea, right? Which I think, and I know this is people are going to be upset about it, but I think it was the right decision based on his content as it was presented, right? And once again, it's not hard for him to go get a legal visa and continue to do what he's doing. It's not difficult. He can do it. It's very possible.
Google Translator, it's really easy nowadays. And they're like, well, what about your videos, like the editing, all that stuff? I'm like, it's just me. Like, look at my videos. They're not that complicated. Like, they're very, very simple. And so And then
even simple videos take editing, they take time, right? Videos are not that easy right now. Listen, I'm a lazy, I'll play it for myself, you know. Where's the clip? Where's the clip?
Look, here's the thing.
Fine.
Listen, I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm kind of retarded.
Takes me like 3 hours to even do simple edits to a video. If I'm doing like a basic edit, I think somebody tried to flame me on one of my comments somewhere. It was like, "Hey Andrew, have you ever heard of editing?" And I'm like, I did. And I don't like spending hours doing simple edits because I'm such a boomer, right? You know, so it can take time. Even simple stuff can take time, especially if you're doing it yourself.
I think one of the things that might have tipped them off, or like, you know, I think what happened, somebody reported me. And so, or
this is what happened. Most likely. This is my hypothesis. I actually agree with him in this. I'll explain why. There's two theories on why he got stopped. I'll explain both. Number one is the teacher theory, and number two is the snitch. And I think it's the snitch. That's the higher likelihood. But I'll talk about the teacher theory. There's also a third one, which I don't think it was. He's going to explain the story. But there's the bad cup of coffee, or the guy who had a bad day. You know, it's just he's just pissed off that day. Because technically, if they're pissed off, they can just revoke you for no reason. They do that to a lot of people, especially if they're from certain countries. They'll say, no, we don't want you in. Go back. And you got to buy a plane ticket, just head on back, right? You don't really have an option. You have to get out of the country. If they just don't like you and decide, yeah, we're not letting you in, they technically can do that. There's technically nothing they can stop them from doing that. Do they do it? No. Is it horrible PR for the country? Yes. Is it likely to happen often? No. But it does happen. It does happen. But I do think somebody snitched on him. And I think it was a Korean. And I'll tell you why later.
I don't know if one person, multiple people, but I think
William, you're banned from the chat. I'm timing you out. All right, let's continue.
Someone had called immigration and reported me, and then they looked into it, and just because of that, they had to question me. And so I get it. I think I've gotten pretty popular in South Korea thanks to you guys.
That's exactly why he's getting nixed, because he's popular in South Korea, right? And he admits it there. And if you look at your demographics, which we all do, and you can look at what country your viewers are from, I guarantee you, if I go in this guy's back door and not like that, I mean his YouTube back door, right? If I go in his back door to YouTube, I will see that my primary audience is 100% going to be Korea. There's no doubt about that. Right. So I'm very sure about that.
And I got so much support, and I can't thank you guys enough. But, you know, I get it. A lot of other vloggers come here, and I've been, I guess, different in a way that I travel differently here. I do, you know, I rode a bike through the country. And,
it's not any of that. It's not about biking. It's about the subtitles. It's about the fact he was in there for a significant part of the year, and he's targeting Korean audience. That's what it is, right?
I made a lot of videos here, and I think I don't know, I'd like to think that my videos provide some value for you guys and are enjoyable to watch and whatnot. And so anyways, besides that, they asked me, like, are you selling massages?
Oh, I mean, I don't take this guy for a massage girl, but you know, hey, don't ask questions, right? You know, in a pinch, you know, sometimes a cyclist might give a good massage. No, it turns out it was a product he was selling.
Cool. I'm like, what? I'm like, massages? Like, what are you talking about? And then it hit me like, oh my gosh. They're talking about the neck massager thingy that was given to me, like right before I left Korea. And the company reached out to me. I'm just explaining this. I'm like, the company reached out to me and just said, hey, I want to thank you for your videos and sharing Korea to the world with everybody and whatnot. And, you know, it must be really hard on your body to cycle through the country like you did. And we want to send you one of our products for free. no strings attached, like nothing. Like they didn't give me any money, whatever.
The problem is that's a product endorsement, right? So, and that's what you would need to do an E6 visa for, right? If you're advertising a product, and even that's actually quintessential, right? Of course, if you're advertising a product, you're not going to pay for it, right? So that brand gets exposure to your millions of viewers or your millions of views, right? In the unique views, for free. That's better advertising than they get from a billboard or from a newspaper, right? The YouTube advertising gets more eyeballs than any of those traditional forms of media. So it's great money spent for them. They spend what? They buy the unit, they buy the massager. It costs what, $10 or something? They send you a $10 massager and they get thousands of dollars in free advertising. That's a win-win. That's a huge win for them. It's a massive win for them, right? The problem is it's a Korean company, and that sort of thing would typically require an E6.
And I'm like, this is crazy. Like something like that might have caused all this. And so I told them exactly what happened, and they're like, okay. And then, yeah, they were really interested on the massage thingy, and who else is working for me? Like, how can I do all this by myself?
And what they're trying to get to is, does he have any Korean employees? If he got a Korean employee, he's dead in the water. He actually would have gotten in some trouble if he had a Korean employee, because then he's got to follow labor law, right? So then it's like, are you breaking labor law? And I'm glad that, I mean, I wish he would have even contacted an attorney. There's a lot of really good attorneys. And in fact, if he needs an immigration attorney, I have many I'm happy to refer him to that'll help him with the E6 visa or digital nomad visa, right? Once again, I'm trying to give it constructive criticism. I'm not trying to be too hard on the guy. Like, I have nothing personal against him, right? I'm just trying to give him constructive criticism and kind of help him out here for this blind spot, because it's going to come up in other countries. If he tries this, frankly, if he went to Japan, I don't know what his visa status is in Japan. He said he lived there for 11 years. Maybe he's a permanent resident. I don't know. Maybe he has a Japanese wife. I don't know this guy. But let's pretend he doesn't have any visa and he's just going to Japan as a tourist. Eventually, they would create the same problem. Eventually, right? Not right away. But at a certain point, if you started translating all your stuff into Japanese, right, and you were targeting the Japanese audience, you're advertising Japanese products, right, you're going to eventually have some questions. And if you're just there as a tourist, eventually you're going to have some questions. Not right away, but eventually.
And so I think
also, real quick, deniable plausibility for 2 said, hey, Andrew, long time no super chat. Cheers, mate. Cheers. John Vassy for 199 said, attention from Nomad Law, Somali influence, both. We'll talk about that. That's
kind of what I've done some research, and I've kind of asked ChatGPT a lot of questions, and it says,
okay, I'm going to be real with you. ChatGPT does work for certain things. Immigration law is the number one area you cannot ask ChatGPT. ChatGPT and immigration law in general is one of those areas where there's so much that is not written and will never be written, because number one, it's discretionary. And number two, there's a lot of it that are unspoken rules that are never put in writing. And countries like unspoken rules in the immigration area because they are very handy, but they don't want to tell you them, because if they tell you them, it's how they detect people. I'm going to tell you a little secret, which normally I would charge people money for, but this is I'm going to do for free here today because this is a good topic. Smash a like button, if you want to pay me for that, give me my consultation fee for this. But I'm going to tell you on one little secret unwritten trick in Korea, how they catch a lot of people that are that should have a visa that don't. We're going to talk about that today. But there's a lot of unspoken rules, and ChatGPT will never know those. They will never be able to answer that. They will never give you the right answer. They're going to give you the wrong answer, the wrong information. It's just not going to be complete. It'll be partial maybe, but it won't be complete.
One of those things like, yeah, if you're coming over here for like ad with like a big crew for like a commercial or like a film or anything like that, then you need a special visa for that. And so, but I'm just thinking, like, I am just here as a tourist, as a traveler, just like every.
He's not a tourist. That's not a tourist. You're doing that. That's at that point an aggregate of work that goes beyond what is considered routine tourism work. If he was there for a week and left, that's fine. But he was there for, 3 to 6 months, it looks like, definitely in large blocks, right? That's gonna trigger some alarms, right? And then he's coming back in the country. Yeah, no, that's now can you get away with visa runs like that? Yeah. Does it trigger red flags? Certainly. If you become famous or you have a niche like that, it's even more risky because you're a public figure. You're out on YouTube. People can just look up your videos and see you're making money. And on every single video, let's be very clear, even this video, he's making a significant amount of money. We can actually see, let me just pull this out here. I'm just want to show you, even underneath this video, the guy made a bunch of money. Right. So here you go. Oman Wan. Right. There you go. Shibman Wan, 100,000 won. Right. There's actually even more. There's Ishiban Wan once. There's Manwan. Ishiban. So he's got 200,000. So it's like 140, 150 bucks right there. And this Lime person has gifted multiple of this. So this person has gifted like a lot of money. Right. There's Samman, there's a lot. So he's making on each video, just from the super thanks, like probably 500 bucks or so on each of those. So that's pretty significant. That's pretty significant revenue. That's not like just traveling without seeing that money come in from clearly Korean accounts. They're in Korean from Korean people. It's clear if you click on them, they're Koreans.
The other travel vlogger that comes over here,
See, this is incorrect too. It's when an E6 is necessary, independent YouTube channel. If you're running an independent YouTube channel, even if monetized and you aren't directly employed, you do not need. This isn't necessarily true. This is bad advice. Wherever you got this from is not good. And this is what happens when you go to ChatGPT. You get fucking trash advice. You should not be going to ChatGPT for stuff like this. This is incorrect, right? You could be. Once again, it's a could. Always no. Sometimes, yes. Highly depends on the scenario. And every factor in this is against the guy. It's not for the guy.
And I don't know. I'm kind of, they're also very interested in, they're like, well, people pay you on YouTube, right? Through super chats and super thanks. And I'm like, yeah, that's part of it. Like people can donate to me on the platform. They pay YouTube. YouTube takes their cut, and then YouTube pays me. And so it's not really a direct transaction, I guess.
See, and look at this. And that came from anyone around the world. He translates this into Korean. Why'd you translate it into Korean, bro? If your primary audience is, even in this video where he talks about being banned, he translates it into Korean. Why'd you do that? Because your audience is Korean. See, he's being a little cute with it. I mean, it's cute. Come on. Let's be honest here. Why'd you translate that into Korean if your primary audience isn't Korean? Come on, man. We know what's up. And yes, it's not a direct transaction. There is an argument that it's an American company because it's through Google, right? But that's not the only thing they're thinking, right? So and they can consider these other factors.
And so I don't know what to make of it. So at the end of the conversation, the lady that I was talking to was like, well, based on everything you've told us and based on the law or whatever, like, we can't let you into the country. And I'm sitting there thinking, well, shit. This throws a wrench into my plans. Like, I'm here in South Korea to pick up my bike to start my travels for 2025. And what am I going to do now? Like, this is not good. And so even the immigration officer that was interviewing me was like, yeah, I'm really sorry. And I just want to thank you for your videos. But basically, I'm just doing my job. Like,
which is what he's supposed to be doing. He's supposed to be doing his job like that. Didn't do anything wrong. I'm going to increase the speed here to, let's do it 1.3. Maybe 1.4. Let's try that because he's going a little slow. But the immigration officer is just doing his job. There's nothing like that he did that was wrong or in executing the law wrong. Frankly, if I was in the same position, I probably would have come to the same result from the factors he said there. I'm here for the scuff for 5 says I was dumb and didn't follow the right paperwork and visa and broke the law, but I'm not at fault. Yeah, I mean, he just didn't know. I don't want to say he's necessarily dumb. He's like the average person, right? And this is stuff that the average person could fall for. I get it. It's obvious to me to Nick that Nick needs an education on these various immigration laws if he wants to avoid bans from other countries. Send him a link. Can he be unbanned? How long would it take? Nick's a lost cause.
Have to do this. Like, you know, I get it. You're just doing your job, but you know. So at that point, I'm thinking I'm not getting into the country, but I'm also relieved in a way. Like, oh man, I didn't know what was going to happen. Are they going to take me to jail? Are they going to?
You're not going to go to jail over this. You're going to be just kicked out of the country. Like that. I mean, at this point, you haven't been let in because you haven't actually passed into the country. You haven't been admitted to the country yet. You're still technically in this international zone of the, excuse me, of the airport. So, and it's like the movie Terminal. It's like this little gray area under international law because you haven't been let in the country. So they're not going to be jailed. It's a fine possible, yes, but unlikely. It is possible, but it's not as likely. But they're not going to toss you in jail for something like this. They're just going to be like, nope, you can't come in. Right? Easiest way to go. Also, thank you so much for the 10 Legal Mindset memberships. Thank you.
Yes.
Received a membership from LJ O'Rourke, who's very based, or anybody else today. Please say thank you in the chat. Also, JS for 10 says, all right, I'll get you to your goal for the Scorpion and all the inside baseball information you're offering up at a discount today. Thank you, JS. Appreciate that. We are fully Scorpion, and I'm going to get stung by that Scorpion juice. Let's continue.
Find me a lot of money. Like, I didn't really know what was going to happen. And so then they were like, well, you're just going to be led to another room. They're going to help you get a flight out of here. And so I was like, well, I'll figure this out later. Like, I'm sure there's going to be a way. Even now, I'm sure there's going to be a way we can kind of figure all this out. And so I went back and sat down in the room, and I'm like, okay, well, I got to go somewhere now. And I'm like in a room that doesn't have Wi-Fi, but the airport has Wi-Fi. So I go back in the main room where they're all sitting. I'm like, hey guys, like, is there a Wi-Fi I can connect to? And the guy was like, yeah, you know, come sit over on this side of the room. You'll be able to access the airport Wi-Fi. So I sit down, and then I send a message to my friends in Japan and Bangkok. And just like, you know, maybe I can shoot over to Japan real quick or to Bangkok and like,
yeah,
you know, for a while. So I figure all this out.
It's to Bangkok, and it's always cool hanging out here.
And then as I'm sitting over there, the same guy I've been dealing with the whole time, he comes and sits down next to me. He's kind of buddy with me now. He understands my situation. And he's like, yeah, man, I'm sorry. But, you know, he shows me his phone again. He was like, basically read something like, I've been talking with the supervisors, and we're going to let you into the country.
So they made an exception and they let him in the country. This is almost unprecedented. They almost never, after they would tell you cannot enter and they let you in, that is extraordinarily rare in my experience. This is like 1 in 100. He should be very thankful they let him come in, very thankful they let him come in even for a couple of days just to get his bike, whatever, because that is something they are under no obligation to do and very rarely do if they rebuff you, because it's very difficult to kind of hunt. It is more difficult to hunt you down once you're in the country, right? So he got extraordinarily lucky. He should be very thankful for that, that they let him in and didn't just bounce him, which they could have legally. Once again, I love how he subtitled this in Korean, right? Not Thai, not Chinese, not Japanese. It's in Korean, right? All right, let's continue.
And because I've been telling him, I'm only going to be here for 4 days to get my stuff and leave. And so he's like, we understand your situation, and we're going to let you into the country to get your bike, and you know, then you can get out. But this one he told me, like, you know, we advise you not to do any YouTube stuff while you're here.
Don't.
I'm like, all right, cool, that's a win. I'll take it. As you know, I'm just relieved I can get in the country, I can get my bike, and then we can figure all the stuff out later. You know, I was also bummed because I was in Korea for 4 days, and I know a lot of people were wondering if I was going to do a live or like make an announcement. And I did a few things on my Instagram, but I'm sure a few people were like, "Come on, Nick, like, what's up? Korea's freaking cold right now. It was so cold,
It's
and now I'm in a warm tropical place." But yeah, it was kind of
I am so glad. I'm not going to lie. I love Korea. But I'm very glad to be in Southeast Asia right now, where the weather is awesome. The weather here is awesome, aside from the particulate matter, you know, in the air. But especially if going to the beach, and you know, I'm going to spend good time in the beach. I'm probably going to head out to Phuket in a couple days. But it is amazing weather here. That is the rough weather of Korea. That Johnny Somali is having to snuggle with Hank, you know, in this freezing cold over here. Crazy, right?
kind of a bummer that I couldn't do anything YouTube related in Korea this time. I was only there 4 days, but still, it would have been cool just to go out and do a mukbang or something. But I'll do one of those when I'm here, while I'm here. So
thank you, Sitsatar Luchai Kopkun Kap for the Songroy. Says just to check in and say hi. Well, thank you, appreciate that. Thank you.
Hopefully,
shout out to Mina Vanilla of Flavors. That's true. I'm loving the weather right now. Yeah, it's great.
we can figure this out. I'm trying to, be optimistic. I'm trying to be optimistic and think like, maybe this could lead to even a bigger opportunity. Maybe I could get a sponsorship, and I could actually like maybe do some sponsors or maybe do some advertisements for companies and get paid while I'm there, like properly. And so I don't want to do that on my channel, but if somebody like, hey, we want to like do a commercial with you or something, I'm like, hey, cool, So I'm trying to be.
You can do an E6 visa. So they want to do a commercial. Here's what you do: do an E6 visa. I'm going to show you guys what an E6 visa requires. This is it. This is crazy, right? Hold on to your butts. This is the crazy requirements of Korean bureaucracy. You ready for this? E6 cultural visa. Ready? Look at this. For people who plan to work and make profit in music, art, literature, sports, entertainment, advertisements, fashion modeling. Here's what you need: an application, literally a piece of paper they give you for free, a passport photo, which you can get from a machine I can get a machine for under $1, a passport, a visa issuance number, which you just go to the office and get one, and a fee. And the fee is not that much money. That's it. You don't need a criminal background check, which you need for other visas like the digital nomad visa. You don't need proof of employment. You don't need anything else. You don't need even a certain amount of money in the bank. You just have to fucking fill out a form, bring a photo of yourself and your passport, and that's pretty much it, and pay your fee. My guy, this is so easy, dude. This is so easy. I really, at this point, I'm telling you this, and this, you don't really have too much of an excuse not to try. If you get denied, then we can talk, right? But my brother, you need to do that. That is not hard to do. Not hard to do. Also, Doug Diaz gifted 5 legal months of memberships. Thank you so much. Very base, Doug. Thank you, Doug. JS says I was out in the trail and it didn't go through until now. Sorry about that. All good. Appreciate you. Kierna for 5. Thank you. Maniac Mark for €2 says a donation to Andrew keeps a fool like Ramsey Way. He's counting every euro and every membership. So he knows that we have 35 new members today. So thank you guys for that. Thank you for the support, and thank you for hitting the Scorpion Juice goal. Thank you guys. You guys are awesome. Let's continue. We're almost done here.
Optimistic and think like, this could actually be a good thing in the long run. I don't know. And so, but for now, it kind of sucks because I don't know if or when I'll be able to come back to South Korea. And so, last thing, it was kind of funny. The immigration officer that I've been dealing with this whole time, you know what the last thing he said to me when he let me into the baggage area where I can get my bag? He was like, "Oh man," he was like, I'm really sorry about the expired bread."
He had a video about expired bread. So that's pretty much the end of it. In the end, he talks about wanting a good lawyer, an immigration lawyer, talk to somebody about that, which is probably why this got forwarded to me. And thank you guys for forwarding this to me. It was very interesting, and I thought this is a really good topic. So we're going to jump right into my PowerPoint, because I have a PowerPoint. Of course, I have a fucking PowerPoint on this. Of course, right? You guys know I'm the PowerPoint man. Okay, so here's the NickKTravel ban, Korean ban. We're going to speed run this. The presentation, right? The PowerPoint. I know you guys like the PowerPoint. Hold on. We'll do the PIPA. We'll do the PIPA for the PowerPoint. Hold on. I got to find that one. Here's the PIPA.
Oh yeah, that's what I like to see. Oh yeah.
I know you guys like it. PowerPoint mindset. Okay. And we'll cut this. Eagle, clip this. All right. Eagle's activated. So this is my explanation of what happened here. I'm going to go over some rules. Some of these are specific to Nick. Some of these are in general, but it'll all get through. Number one, what happened? He got banned from entering Korea. So he was granted limited exemption to get his stuff and leave. Okay. Rule number 1, you have no right to enter a country for any amount of time. You can be denied for any reason by an immigration officials as an extension of the sovereign power of that country unless you are a citizen or permanent resident, not temporary, not have even a business visa or whatever else. Unless you are a permanent resident, that's a type of resident that is that's short of citizenship. It's everything but voting usually, right? As a permanent resident, it's a special status. You have to earn that, right? So unless you are a citizen or a permanent resident, you do not have a legal right to be in that country. And a lot of Americans feel very entitled. When we're going to talk about Johnny Somali, right? Johnny Somali feels entitled to be in these countries, to be in the countries he goes and causes problems in. A lot of the nuisance streamers, we talk about the nuisance streamers, right? Some of the kick streamers. Not all of them are nuisance streamers. Some of them are good guys and good people and good girls. That's all good. But some of the nuisance streamers feel the same way. They feel entitled to be in these countries. They're not. And if those countries decide they're not wanted, they could kick them out at any time. They are there, for example, in Japan, at the good graces of Japan. If Japan says, you know what, we don't want you streaming in our country, they can boot you out. They can boot them all out. They could boot them all out tomorrow if they wanted to. They're not doing it because they're nice, not because they can't do it. They could if they wanted to. Let's all be aware of that. How difficult is permanent residency? It's both difficult and not. If you are committed to staying in Korea for a significant amount of time, like let's say 5 years, you can do it. You can get PR, right? But you got to do there. Also, you really need to learn Korean. That's like something that in terms of the point system and also their unofficial things, you really got to learn Korean. It's not impossible though. It's very possible. Okay, so that's rule number 1. You have no right to be there. So don't act entitled to being in a country. Sorry, you're just not entitled to it. Next, rule number 2. If you enter a country as a tourist, either through a visa exemption or visa free through a tourist visa, right? Any type of tourism, you do not have the inherent right to work. The presumption is you are not allowed to work. Now, sometimes, for example, in certain circumstances, let's say you are a branch employee of Microsoft and you are going to a Microsoft conference or training in Korea, right? For Microsoft Korea. There's some limited exemptions for that and stuff like that, where you're working with a company, which is probably one of the reasons why they asked him, are you working with somebody? Because, for example, if you're an LG employee, an American LG employee, and you came over to Korea, and they're like, okay, yeah, that's fine. Or if you're working with a company there, that's fine, because you'd be covered by them. You'd be covered by their company. But of course, he wasn't there. He was just there as a tourist. But you're not supposed to be working. Now, can you get away with it? Sure. Also, where do you publish the information? So, for example, if you're a travel vlogger and then you're taking it all and you film 1 week, you go back home to America, and then you dump all of your footage and you release it. Well, they're probably not going to have a problem with that. But if you're in Korea actively making and producing content while you're there, that's going to raise more flags, right? It's going to raise more flags. Next, rule 3, but other people do it is not a legitimate excuse for anything, immigration or otherwise. Nobody has ever got away with anything because they said, but he's doing it. Imagine, I think speeding is the best example. You're speeding in the car, you get pulled over, and you tell the officer, but the other guy was going 120 and I was only going 100. Is he going to let you off? We all know the answer is no, right? We all know the answer is no. That's not a good example. Yeah, someone said Lance Armstrong. Yeah, everybody else is doping. I can dope too because everyone else dopes. No, that's not an excuse. You can't do that. Even if everybody else is doing it, that doesn't make it okay. And just because you got caught, it sucks. It sucks, but doesn't make it okay. Now, I think in this case, he was doing things differently, but that's my personal opinion. And no, that's not my opinion. My educated interpretation of the facts. I'm not a Korean lawyer, right? However, I have a lot of experience dealing with Korean immigration, both personally and through my profession, right? Of helping people and consulting with people on this. And I've had over 50 to 100 clients, probably at this point. No, I'm sorry. About 70 clients that have in various ways gone in and out of Korea, right? So I've got a lot of data on Korea. Rule 4, maxing out your tourist visa period and then immediately re-entering the country is frowned upon, even if it can be done legally. And a lot of people do this legally, and it's not illegal. It's not illegal. Hear me. It's not illegal. It puts extra scrutiny on your case. And I'm going to talk about the teacher hypothetical. That is one of the scenarios he might have been caught in. For those English teachers out there, you're going to know what I'm talking about, you dirty English teachers. This is one of the things that raises suspicion. So what this means is, for countries, for example, like Japan and Korea, you're allowed to go 3 months in that country without just no visa. You just come in for 3 months. Technically, you can turn around, go to another country for 1 day and come back. So for example, if you're in Korea for 3 months and you take a boat to Tsushima, which is Japan, right? And you just get off the boat and then you get right back on the boat and you come back, technically you can do that. Or you take the shuttle, or you go to Busan and you take the boat to Fukuoka or Osaka and you turn right back around. You do a shot with meme copium in Osaka and you go right back over to Korea. You can technically do that. It's frowned upon, and they look very carefully at your file. They don't just like immediately let you in. They're like, oh, what the fuck is this guy doing? And I'm going to talk about why, because there's a specific problem, the teacher problem. Rule 5 is, if he bothered to get an E6 entertainment visa or a digital nomad visa, and I'll put a little asterisk on that one, it is unlikely to be a problem. Both of these visas are cheap and easy to obtain. There really isn't an excuse for not getting them, especially now that he's been told. He really doesn't have an excuse for not doing one of the two. If he had one of the two, he probably wouldn't have a problem. They probably want him to get the E6, but I think the digital nomad visa might work as well, because he can argue that YouTube is an American company, so he's not deriving that income from inside of Korea. So there is an argument for that, but it does allow him to continue doing that type of work. So I think digital nomad would work for him. The visa would work for him. I'm not trying to give him, too much personalized advice, but I think they're trying to push him into E6, which is fine. Whatever. You can try one or both, right? They're both cheap and easy. And if he needs a lawyer, I'm more than willing to introduce him to a Korean lawyer, a very good Korean immigration lawyer that will help him with that, right? Very good, for free. Rule 6 says, if your primary video audience is Korean and you are spending significant time, it looks like he spent 3 to 6 months. If you look at his videos, he has months of Korean content. He clearly was there for at least 3, if not 6 months in that country. At least, I mean, there's no way to get all that content out. It looks like he maxed out his tourist period. You need to get a Korean work visa. This is what, if you're in Korea, you're operating there, you're spending significant time, your primary audience is Korean, you're going to need a work visa. Here's a teacher presumption. So the teacher presumption is because there's a lot of dirty teachers out there. And I know a lot of you teachers are clean. You're good boys and girls. And, God bless you for teaching young Korean kids English. That's a hard job. I took that test and, for a short time, I actually did some part-time, trying to do a little bit of that. And it is just, number one, it's not for me. I love kids and teaching, I love teaching in general. But it's a hard job, and you're under the thumb of very strict rules. It's really interesting. But what happens is you've got these dirty teachers. So they are working, teaching English in Korea without an official visa. So they work and get paid under the table in Korea, because it is high paying if you want to, especially if you have private clients, private tutoring, etc. Right? You get somebody a private tutoring. What these teachers do is they just go to Japan or go somewhere for like a day or two, and they come right back in, and they keep maxing out their tourist period. So they go for 3 months, they leave, they leave for a day or two on the weekend, and they come back and they get another 3 months. Because that's illegal, and they need to apply as teachers, and they know this is a thing. Korean immigration knows this is a thing. Anytime they see you maxing it out, they scrutinize it because of the dirty teachers. And this is my free advice here that I normally don't let out outside of a consultation, but we're going to tell today. We're going to talk about dirty teachers. So they get away with that. And look, do people get away with that? Yes. Have people successfully gotten away with this? Yes. Right? They do it because it sometimes works, but eventually you get caught. when you do it your third or fourth or fifth time, they're going to eventually catch you and they're going to be like, yeah, no, you get out of here. You're a fucking English teacher. Get out of here. Right. And English teachers are ultimately completely replaceable because they can obviously find somebody else. And nowadays they're very inclined to find folks from like the Philippines, for example, or other places that'll accept a lower wage. And to them, you're just a robot that reads off a book. Right. So, the sooner they can replace you with AI, they would. Right. Because it's just all interchangeable plugs. Your personality and teaching style and all that doesn't matter. You just teach the book and do it the way they want it. They do it the way they want to do it. Essentially, you're a robot. So yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, but no, I never officially taught ESL ever. I have the certificate because I always said if I ever, was unemployed on the street here, I could do it. I wouldn't have to go back to the US, but I really haven't done it full time. Golden showers for the free consultation. Thank you, Patrick Elza. Danke. Thank you. Fat Factor for 10 pounds says Korea is probably screening creators too. No. P.S. Word on the Dabbleverse streets is that if you say Aaron Imholt 3 times in the mirror and a few wraps of Nick Rekieta's goo lands on your face, haka. Oh, that's disgusting. Thank you guys. We'll be able to go full crazy on the Nick Rekieta stuff on the BLM level stream, which is coming up. Thank you guys. John Vassy says I don't. Oh, clarified. Says was for £499 pounds. Says was supported by family when in Korea. I found out how generous people can be was becoming embarrassing. My kids are Korean, so I think they don't have entitlement. Well, I guess that's good, right? Right. So so they have entitlement. I don't. Is that true? Okay. Yeah, there's a lot of I will say this about the Korean market. You can make a lot of money in that sector. So if you make content and you're a content creator and you just target Korea and you Korea max, you put everything in Korean, you make your thumbnails Korean style. There's a certain style Koreans like, and you're a foreigner, especially, you're just like, I love Korea, I love Korean food. You can make a lot of money, and people know that though. So here's the problem. Is you get a lot of haters and you get a lot of jealous people, which is where we go to the next thing. So one of the things, the hypotheticals is he got caught in the teacher presumption, but I don't think it's that. It's pretty clear he's not a teacher, and you can look at his YouTube channel and figure out real quickly he's not a teacher. He probably got caught by a hater, and it probably was a Korean hater, right? So the Korean hater probably was somebody who was making videos of a similar sort in Korea, and they got mad that he was making more money than them, and it probably was a Korean, and he turned around and reported them immigration. To be honest, they're not going to take reports to immigration seriously unless you are also a Korean. So I don't think it was somebody outside. It could be a agency or something, but I think it was probably an individual that was probably pissed off at the money he's making and his success and how he's doing it. And they're probably like, this foreigner should not be making money. It's probably a Korean who looks at it. It's like, this foreigner is not even paying taxes here. He's making money, he's profiting, and he's not contributing, which, to be honest, there's a little bit of logic to that. He's not paying taxes. He's not paying into the Korean national healthcare, which you're required to buy required to have if you're there for a longer period of time, which you should be. Right? If he's there biking, imagine if he gets injured. Who's going to take care of him? The Korean healthcare system. He should be paying into that, right? And that's not unfair. That's not an unreasonable thing. By the way, Korean healthcare is amazing. I never regretted paying for it. I used Korean healthcare to the great extent, and it's super worth it and worth paying for. I never felt bad about paying the couple $100s a month I paid for Korean healthcare. No problem. It's totally worth it. I have no problem with that. I'm happy to have supported their healthcare system. It's amazing. Their system is amazing. And their level of healthcare is ridiculously good, right? He should be paying into that. He should be paying some taxes. I'm sorry. You're using you're profiting off the country. You're using the country. You're staying there for a long time. Pay some taxes. It's not unreasonable. You're making enough money. I see those super thanks. You're making some money. They're very visible, right? The reality, and this is a big reality, Many countries are kicking out freelancers, like people that, and I know freelancers in the sense of people who work for themselves, or digital nomads, essentially. Digital nomads are getting booted because they do not have proper visas. They didn't go through proper channels. And we're kind of seeing parallels there in the US with people working illegally. This happens in many countries. It's happening in Bali. It happens in Thailand. It happens in many places. People who are working without work authorization. You need to get your shit correct, and you need to get it right. You need to go pay for a visa. Sorry. Like, I mean, there's not really, just do it legally. Just because somebody else got away with it isn't an excuse for you not to do the work. If you're making the money, go pay the stuff and do the work. You're not running a serious business as a YouTuber if you're not willing to do that. It's not very hard. So go get that. It's a crime globally to work without a visa in a country. That's not something that's unique to Korea or Japan or Asia. It's pretty much everywhere. So just go do it. Especially if you're staying there a long time. Get legal. Go legal, you know? And I think that's it. Oh, yeah. Last but not least, the Somali effect. Okay. So how does this case relate to Johnny Somali? So is it directly because of Johnny Somali? No. He's not being targeted because of Johnny Somali. However, this is very relevant to the Somali case. Here's why. The ban of Nick K is relevant and the information because of the first words out of immigration's mouth to Nick K. What did they say? You have broken Korean law. If Johnny Somali streams and he does not have a proper visa to be streaming and making money, if he decides to stream, he is breaking Korean law. Same as the very intro to Nick K's video. Breaking Korean law. That's an additional charge. That's something else on his menu of violations in Korea. It just adds to it, the cabbage effect, right? So if he does do that, that's something that they can tack on, they can add, which at this point, once again, people know Johnny Somali. They know where he is. They know he's in the country. It's kind of like this guy, Nick K, insofar as now people know him. They know who he is. When I asked my Korean friends, have you heard of Nick K? They actually had. And that's a good sign that people know you. Same thing with Johnny Somali, people who know who Johnny Somali is. So now that he's at that point, you can't get away with streaming in the country anymore. You can do that when you're not known, but he's known. And, thanks to many channels that are putting out information on Johnny Somali, if he pops his head up, everybody's going to cover it. I covered it the other day. Other people are going to cover it. They're going to write articles about it, right? People are going to know when he sticks his head up like a little groundhog. Groundhog's Day is coming up, by the way. Good movie. So we're going to smack that groundhog when he pops up out of the dirt, right? So that is how this relates to Johnny Somali, and hopefully there can be lessons learned here. So once again, I don't take anything personally to this guy. I mean, maybe if I was harsh, it's more tongue in cheek. It's not personal. I have nothing against Nick K. He seems to have a very successful channel, and I think he should just go and get a visa and just do this legally. I mean, I think he's created a big content farm out of being in Korea. He's clearly marketing to the Korean people, and he's doing a good job of it. And I think he just needs to continue. He got 300,000 views in this video about Korean baseball, right? 200,000 about this other one in Korea, about a French dude, right, in Korea. He needs to just look at this 250,000 here. That's crazy. He needs to just market to Korea, get a proper visa, and just do it. And just stay there in Korea and do it legally and just make that your thing, bro. Korea likes you and you seem to be a really nice guy. So just do it legally. And I think you've got a good career ahead of you. I think you've got a solid niche. I think he could be very successful. He seems like a really nice, affable guy. He's fit, he's doing well for his life. I think he just needs to fill out the goddamn paperwork. Like someone said here, LJ work, just fill out the proper paperwork. It's not hard. You can do it for sure, man. And if you need help, I'll help you with a lawyer. I'll get you with the best immigration lawyer in Korea, right? I know 2 that I can recommend you to that'll get you your visa for sure. And, if you need help, reach out to me. I'm willing to help you. But I hope that you take this as a learning lesson and you should be honest about the things that you actually were doing. I get it. I get why you want to be a little bit coy about it, but it's clear you're marketing in Korea, man. It's like obvious. We all know, right? Just like my primary audience is Americans. It's not surprising. My information isn't translated into Japanese or Korean or anything else. Although I have an audience abroad, I know the majority are Americans. But, is what it is. English speakers, certainly. Digital Lee says for 5. Says South Korean visa abusers and nuisance streamers take him to Detroit. Hilarious clip. Don't play the whole clip on live stream. Oh, I'll have to. Hold on. Do I have that? Hold on. Let's see if I have that clip. Here we go. The 24. Hold on. Here we go. I think I can do this. I think I can play this. Hold on. We're gonna do this.
And as for my American friend, the CIA thinks it can infiltrate the mountain of Dr. Kron. You can't
I'm gonna pause this for a second. I love old movies.
scare me, you slant-eyed yellow bat.
Okay, well that's definitely dangerous.
Take him to Detroit.
I see why he told me not to play the whole thing. Good clip though. Good clip. Super racist there. Good clip. Wow. J Dash, the duelist says cabbage. Gazaby for 5 says if you join on someone's else's stream, they get donations and they decide to give you half. Is that considered working? Yes. I mean, it can be. Once again, it's not black or white. Immigration is not black or white. It's not. It is for sure. It's not right for sure. But it more likely is than isn't, and that's what the standard you're going for, right? More likely is than isn't. Cool. Let's see what else we got here. I think I got everybody's chats today. Thank you guys. We have 40 new members today. We've had a lot of good comments. So thank you guys for joining today. Everything's great. Do you have a visa for that clip? Yes, I do. I mean, once again, I got my ducks in the row here in Thailand, which is exactly why, because it's my home base. I'm producing work from here, right? So I made sure that I can do everything very legally from here, under my visa category, status, business, etc. Right? And Triple J26 just brought us up to 45 new members. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. Actually, 45. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. If you received a gift of membership, please say thank you. Right? Until next time, guys, stay based. Please make sure you're safe out there, and I will catch you on the next one. Let's leave you with a little bit of the coping and seething.
You are coping and seething. You just can't accept what you're seeing. Yes, you're coping and seething. The truth it is scalding, and now you are molding and coping so hard.